This is Topical Issues, and today I'm going to talk about something sensitive. There was a time when I was highlighting my things that have happened, my encounter with the witchcraft and the paranormal. And I ended up telling you that it appears witchcraft is a technology. We ended up with seeing that the computers you use, the phones you use, are came from psychic tubes, and there are things like alchemy. This is chemistry we have today was forbidden. It was seen as magic. That is what has helped us be able to get medicine, be able to extract chemicals, metals from rocks. Some of those things were considered to be witchcraft. So today I'm going to talk about books called grimoires. Why am I talking about books called grimoires? Because there are certain things that religious groups have been evading, and whether we like it or not, we have to discuss, because we are living this life, we are living on this earth, these things are happening where we are. We cannot take them for granted. So I'll talk about grimoires. But before, I'll talk about that. This one, the song I was talking about, that one we shall put forward some other place, because it talks about what has happened because of these grimoires things. So, what is a grimoire? A grimoire is a book with spells, symbols, incantations, charms, and instructions for invocations and making of amulets. Although these book texts have existed since ancient times, they became much more readily available after the advent of the printing press. Grimoires are books that contain these magical spells. But is it only magical spells? Yes, and some may say no. Because I came to realize that grimoires are not only with witchcraft. As I was going through the internet, I realized that even religious groups have grimoires. These are enchantments, incantations. Sometimes when people are exorcising the demons, sometimes when they are calling for demons or angels to come and attend to certain situations that they cannot be able to attend to themselves. So I know it's going to be a shock, because many people say that religious groups don't have grimoires. Grimoires belong to the witches, to the wizards, and such groups. I realized that also religious groups have grimoires, and some top people even in religious groups have written grimoires, and they are grimoires of the past. By the way, when people are making incantations, they are invoking supernatural spirits, supernatural entities. So I want us to go through to see some names of grimoires, and these are the top 10 grimoires. 1. The 6th and 7th books of Moses. Moses with a grimoire. The clavicle of Solomon. Had me right? Solomon? Grimoire? Petit Albert, that's a grimoire. The Book of Saint Cyprian, that's a grimoire. Dragon Rogue, that's a grimoire. The Book of Honorius, that is a grimoire. The fourth book of occult philosophy, that's another grimoire. The Magus, that is another grimoire. Necronomicon. We talked about necromancers. I think now you see there is a grimoire. The Star Magic Grimoire, and many other grimoires. There are religious, below it I was just writing in short notes, there are the religious grimoires, necromancy, divination, and demonology. Medieval, that is the past, those who used to live in the past, medieval clergy were the main practitioners, clergy, note that, were the main practitioners of magic and therefore the owners, transcribers, and circulators of grimoires. While several grimoires were attributed to, I'm not going against any church, I'm just going what is there, to popes. Some popes wrote grimoires too. So grimoire is not only negative, grimoire can also be positive. It is invoking higher powers, invoking higher entities. What do grimoires summon? Grimoires summon spirits, angels, deities, demons, archangels, Olympian spirits, fairies, fallen angels, and I think other supernatural entities. I wanted to find the difference between, because when we summon this, we want supernatural things to happen. So I had to go and find out the meaning of the word magic. What is magic? Because many people believe that grimoires are only used in magic. And then now, what is magic? Magic is the power of apparently influencing events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. That's what I got from the Wikipedia. It is the power of apparently influencing events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. So that may involve acquiring things that are far and you are near. People are able to use grimoires to call them. Exorcising demons, people use grimoires, and sometimes healing. That's why I was looking at magic. That is magic. Second one, the second meaning was having or apparently having supernatural powers. That's magic. And then I went to something else, because magic, we take it is done by witches and wizards and the occult. So what else did I look for? What are miracles? The first one, because they are varying, there is, when it's written from the religious point of view, it is structured differently. When it's written from an independent source, it goes differently. I've talked about magic. Now let's look at miracles. An extraordinary and welcome event that is not explicable by natural or scientific laws and is therefore attributed to a divine agency. A divine agency. Then I went and again looked within those things, and I found the power of using supernatural or other unseen forces to apparently influence events of human behavior. And that is magic. That was magic. And we were seeing magic has been practiced since human culture began and continued, because I had to get different meanings. I want you to have all of them, so because you'll get others in places that vary. Human culture began and continues to be relevant to many societies today. I went to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia, miracle is an event that is inexplicable by natural and scientific laws. So you find that there is a very thin line between magic and miracle. Grimoires do that. It was surprising because there was a time I saw in the internet that Solomon, the genie Ifrit, then I was asking myself, Solomon, genies? But today I went through these things, and I got the Islamic version, and I got the Jewish version. So I start with the Islamic version. It says Solomon could summon jinns, demons, and those other spirits. That is Islamic. And from the Islamic, I found that the demons summoned by Solomon are Onias, Beelzebub, Onoskelis, Asmodeus, Tephra, the seven star sisters. That's a reference to the Pleiades, that is formation of stars in the sky. Envy is a demon. Rabdos, wrath. Tribolize, Obizuth, the wind dragon. Enepsigos, Kunapston, Kunopaston, and an unnamed lustful spirit. The 36 spirits of Decans, Ephipas, Abezet, and Bow. That is, according to the narrative in Islam, the Temple of Jerusalem was commissioned by Solomon and built by jinns. But I went to the Jews' view on that, and the Jews' view was that the Temple of Jerusalem was built by people, and everything went on like that. But there was a catch, because demons, according to what I found, are called Shaidim. Shaidim, demon. But the demons are referred to as Shaidim or worms. There was a catch, because there was a place where it's saying Shaidim or stone cutters also participated in the construction. Shaidim or worms. This is what the Islamic version says, jinns. So you see, you are getting a jinn somewhere. And it's interesting, because I was surprised when the other time I'd been told anything magical, first grimoires and everything. Now I'm finding again they are in the religions, and the people that you don't expect to have been using grimoires, to have been summoning these spirits. Grimoires and politics. I realized out of the research that I was going through that during the time of difficulties, such as election, because elections are a very trying time for politicians, you are either getting back to power or you are going out. So some run to churches, some run to people who practice witchcraft. They go to witchcraft altars to find solutions. And I came to realize that some evil altars, are able to summon demons that cause skirmishes in countries, accidents, bloodletting, for them to be able to achieve certain things. So there are those who go that lens. There are those who go to religious groups. There are those who go to the dark people. I don't want to call them dark now, because one thing I'm telling you is they have got their technology. We Christians and others, ours is Jesus. That is our technology. But there are also other religions, even some Christian religion with grimoires for prayers and things like that, but also grimoires for summoning those spirits that I was calling upon. So a time like that, you find there's a lot of bloodletting. Some people are captured for sacrifices and things like that during that time, so that they organize through supernatural ways of them being able to achieve certain aspects in their life. I looked at this thing, and to me as a Christian, I would encourage you to come to Jesus. But there are other religious groups. I said, the visitation I follow does not go with grimoires. But there are other visitations that go with grimoires, and they are able to attain whatever they are attaining. And now, the difficult thing is this: we like it or not, because conversion is voluntary. They will remain wherever they are. We shall convert others, they'll come to us. The others will be converted to Islam or other places. But now, question is, since there is a thin line between these two, there are technologies also. Because I was surprised. I looked at the portal thing. There was a bell that the German Nazi people were experimenting with. They were trying to make a portal. It was under occultic technologies to settle down that. So I realized, whoa, so there was also occultic technology. I was wondering about operations, secret operations like Operation Paperclip, why some people with certain supernatural knowledge were taken during the war to other countries. And from that, I realized that from what we call occultic technology, closer to witchcraft or wizard technology, people had advanced in that they were trying to make anti-gravity aircrafts. And the rocket that was able to propel man into space and man onto the moon came as a result of those inventions. those occultic things. So I was wondering, because we shall exist, like it or not, you will exist. Is it possible that a situation can be reached where these people are using their technologies, but sometimes in a way that is harmful to us? Can it be organized such that there may be situations and organizations so that whatever technologies they use will not be used to harm us, but can be used to advance humankind? Because we can't deny the fact those things are there. Whether we like it or not, they are there. They have pushed human society to some advancement, but to us who believe in God and in Jesus, we shall advance that line. We've had a big problem in Africa because ours, we were told when we were young, these people are, and most of the societies think of eliminating them. Could there be a way that they can be regulated so that whatever technology they have cannot harm us, but if there is anything useful, can be channeled so that everybody uses? Just like some of the technologies we are using were called witchcraft. And now there are technologies that we are using for advancement. Because when I see something like, within my lifetime, so many changes have happened. I always say when I was small, the telephone had wire lines. It was only the police who had the walkie-talkie. But all the telephones, and very few people had telephones. Then there came the telephone booth. But now, this mobile phone, these things we carry that are fashioned according to the computer, the television, they appear magic. When I was a child, one could not expect that you would move with something and you can talk from anywhere you are, when you are in your bedroom, when you are in the bathroom, when you are anywhere, because a telephone was a fixed thing on the line. There are technologies that we've been talking about, like this one is destructive, but defense is there. We never know whether we shall be defending only ourselves or other. We believe in God for defense. You have seen when I talk to you about testudos, that is Jesus. But I'm talking of reality of what is happening around also, because technology is also moving on. And there are some technologies we shall embrace. They could have started from that other side, but eventually they become a common technology. Something like plasma ray. Now it can be used for operation, because you use the plasma ray for operation. Things like eye cataracts or whatever, things that were difficult, one can use that for operation. One can use that to burn tumors within certain areas. And it can be used as a weapon to tear down low-flying aircraft, kill completely. Plasma. During those other time, it will be magical. So for Europe, they when I read in books, I hear they organize those who belong to those other arts, have their own whatever organization. They call them what? Covens and whatever. There are those in the army. Funny thing, I was seeing that what is used in the Navy sometimes when they are aiming and targeting is called an Ouija board. And Ouija board is supposed to be a witchcraft thing. It has gone to targeting in big ships. Interesting. So these are things that we shall be with. What is your take, Africa, on this situation? Because it's a situation we have to be with. Let's not be caught up in a situation like the one we have had with lesbians. They call there is that term that carries all those things across. Left undecided, but it's there within the society. So we say we shall kill them, we shall do what, we shall pass but they are still our brothers, our sisters, they are there. They are with us. We are stuck with them. You may not conform to that, but they are there. They conform to that. There are also these people with these other supernatural powers. Your belief, my belief, may not conform to that. Some of our religious groups, even Christianity, there's other people who conform to that. Because you have had GRIMOIRES also, there are other religions also. Some conform, some don't. What can be our approach to this situation? Because it's a situation facing us. Do we ignore, which will not eliminate them? If they have those powers, they can still use? Or does the society, the government, sit down and see what they can be able to do so that we gain from both technologies? I know it doesn't sound Christian-like, but we believe in miracles, we believe in whatever has been happening to me, that's protection from Jesus. So I'm talking with protection from Jesus. If it was somebody who doesn't know about God, we would say this is a person with an agenda. But this is a reality. How do we coexist and how do we benefit from what they have and from what? Because eventually those technologies will get back to us. Now, can you refuse to use a computer because it came from the psychic tube or that thing? Will you refuse to use it? You can't avoid it. Isn't it? If we find something that has been done in physics, like those countries that use trains like magnets, it is something that floats on magnetism. Long time magnetism would be seen like magic. So it's supposed to be a magical train riding on nothing. And if you are in a hurry, it's a source of transport. Shall we say that my belief does not allow me to go using a magnet? So it's something we have to think. As Kenya, as Africa, the other countries have accepted it. They know how they are balancing. But we need to balance. But as we balance, it should not affect us, where now people are going again to use witchcraft, sacrificing us, witchcraft, all these things, causing accidents so that certain powers are attained. No. If it can be done without involvement of humans, so that we have something like laws, because things happen like spells and whatever. There is witchcraft, but we believe there's no witchcraft. Spells are thrown and people die for real. But what can you do about it? There are certain things that happen. You know they exist, but according to the laws and everything, they don't exist. What can be done? And if there is regulation, then they do their thing within regulated self-regulation and also regulation from the government, because they'll be there and they'll do their things. And some of the things they do may be profitable to the whole society. So it's just a question I'm throwing to you. It's a discussion. I'm igniting a discussion. I'm not taking any sides. What do you think? What is your take? I know we cannot be able to exchange because I wouldn't be able to answer. There's so many and what is happening. But when you get this, discuss amongst yourself. Discuss on the net. Discuss freely. Say your views, pro or against. And also remember to be able to give solutions, because solutions don't come from anywhere. We don't want it because, or we want it because, or they can exist this way, or they cannot exist that way. From that, the rest of the society can be able to make up a framework of how we coexist with these things, because we shall have to coexist. And they are there. That is my take for now.